Content warning. The Adventures in HellwQrld podcast talks in depth about QAnon, which means we have to talk about all kinds of child abuse and violence against people. Listener discretion advised.
Hello, everybody. I am Mike Rains, a.k.a. Poker and Politics, and welcome to another episode of Adventures in HellwQrld. I am joined, as always, by Sarge.
Who is too Sarge, too furious. That's right. It's completely different this time.
And the mysterious L.
Hello, my beautiful babies.
Is that your Sylvester Stallone?
Ayo. It's like
Bang
when we were on binge worthy and we were watching Creed. Like every once in a while, he would just be like, "Hey, you know." It should be like, oh wow, so emotional. But at the same time, I did walk away from that movie just being like, man, Sylvester Stallone was actually pretty good in that. So I guess I'm part of the problem.
I mean, yeah, in the parts that he's in, he's a very good old Rocky.
How long is it going to take before we get Sylvester Stallone and Vin Diesel to have like a serious dialogue-heavy drama?
Oh my god.
Maybe Sly can be like a member of the family in like Fast 17 or whenever they get to it. I mean,
he could be like Grandpa Toretto.
Yes, yes.
The Toretto.
I think he is. I think he was destined to play that part. Oh man. And a peek behind the curtain, right when we went to start the podcast today, I almost hit the news bump instead of the theme music. So that'd have been a great opening because I just like slapdash through all the noises onto the soundboard.
Can you imagine if that ended up accidentally being the podcast that we put out? Like, our listener, it would make our listeners so bad because they'd be like, "Oh shit, they must really have some news to talk about. Did we miss something?"
Yeah,
no.
The news.
Just go do a hard cold open. Just boom, guys. You have no idea how much news we have this week. It's so incredible. We couldn't even wait for the music or the small talk. It's just wild.
Instead, as always, we opened right into a conversation about some pop culture nonsense. In this case, Sylvester Stallone.
Yes, exactly.
And how great it would be as a tie-in to Sarge's intro of himself. How great it would be.
Too Sarge, too furious.
Yeah,
I mean, we had so much news last week that we actually skipped over. There was just no place for Putin's poop bodyguards. Like, we just zipped right by that because it was medium at best.
And apparently it stuck in your craw enough to surprise us on the show. This was not discussed in the production meeting. We're just going into it. Amuse Bouche topic number 1, apparently, Putin's poop bodyguard, because we didn't get to it last week.
Yeah, gotta bring it back. So he has someone who, when he's traveling abroad, collects his poop, and so that like foreign spies can't get it. That is the working theory. So a lot of people think, and it's pretty certain that he has some sort of colon cancer, and he doesn't want foreign spies to know how bad it is.
Also, this is a great place for me to bring up. Well, I'll put a pin in that conversation. I feel like I know the question you're about to ask, but we should mention for the listeners that stick with us from week to week. Following 2 weeks of the Amuse Bouche bump being questionable at best, both Amuse Bouche, I think was the first one, which I still struggle to say, and the second one was Accuse Bouche, which didn't work because the word accuse is already a thing. We've taken it back to the lab, and we're awaiting our future bump, which is why we just went straight into talking about Putin's poop. And Mike, were you about to ask if your poop can tell you about your colon cancer?
Yes, I was. I'm very interested in.
Have you not seen the commercials for the at-home poop in a box test?
I have seen them, but I didn't know that poop in the box test would like tell you, oh, you're basically dead. I thought it was basically like, yo, see a doctor, or no, you're all good. I didn't know it could.
Yeah, I don't know if it says you're basically dead, but if you have cancer cells like in your poop, like that, it would be if you had colon cancer.
Aha. Okay, so
I love those commercials so much because some ad firm, like, their task was, okay, so what we were trying to sell to the people as an at-home test for colon cancer screening, where you have to poop in a box, pretty much. You have to like poop and then put it into the box at the very end.
Yeah.
So we need you to sell this to the American people. So make like a boxy little mascot and have him dance around and just be like, put poop in me.
Exactly.
Yeah, it stuck with me because it's such a wild story, and he's so crazy about like hiding this from foreign spies that the fact that it exists like shows that A, he's very crazy, and B, certainly has some form of like just further confirms that he has cancer.
Maybe he's healthier than ever, and this poop bodyguard is a sham. It's like a false flag.
It could be a double secret cover, but
it's a triple reverse head fake. That's the thing, is that once you have the poop bodyguard, you're basically answering the question for us. Wouldn't it be better to just shit in every public stall all around Europe, and then when they say they've analyzed your poop for cancer, you call it fake news and a liberal Western plot to undermine Vladdy Daddy's iron grip upon Russia? I mean, it feels like you're really getting out in front of a story that you really shouldn't be getting out in front of, because you're making it look worse. This is officially he doth protest too much.
I was literally about to say that. Yeah, it just he doth protest and poop too much. So
maybe it's worse than cancer. Maybe his poop holds secrets, like national secrets for like Russian. Maybe he's like a super soldier, and now he's just like running out like the rest of the time on his clock. But they don't want you to get your hands on Putin's super poop because you may be able to. I mean, you saw him on that horse. What a mensch! Are you trying to tell me that he was a regular human being? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to get us away from Biden's poop because we have some more Amuse Bouches to get through this week. Starting with a little game, the most dangerous game. Because there's been some scuttlebutt on the internet about some fellow getting in trouble for his RINO, as in Republican in name only, hunting campaign ad, which is to say, yes, an ad where he is hunting human beings. Mike, what's up with the most dangerous game?
Yeah, so Sarge has a better grasp on how to say this guy's last name, Eric Gretchens.
Greitens. This is my former governor, Greitens. He, go ahead.
So what happens is he basically stands in front of the camera holding a gun, because that's what all Republicans do in all their ads nowadays, and he's just like, it's rhino hunting season, no limits, no bagging, no tagging. And then they have a SWAT team of what are supposed to be like militarized police kick down a door and storm into a room, and then he walks into the room behind them.
That's not a bit in Uvalde, am I right?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
We'll get to that because only more has come out about that. But
oh God, do we have to? Jesus fucking Christ! So he goes through the door that the obviously not Uvalde cops cleared for him, and then is just like, it's rhino hunting season, and I'm here to get them all, or whatever a dumb, angry thing he says while brandishing his firearm. And this ad, of course, created considerable blowback about the fact that this guy is talking about, this isn't even about like killing liberals or killing minorities that Republicans hate. This is literally Republicans who aren't Republican enough. Now you are fair target for death threats. And the idea that, one of these days we're going to kick down your doors with guns blazing and come after you. And Roy Blunt was asked about this ad and was like, I don't want to give it any more oxygen. And then, of course, he was asked if the guy won the primary and was the Republican nominee for Senate. He was like, yeah, I'll vote for him. How you do. I mean, this is how Republicans operate. They're appalled by what the lunatics in their party do. But if said lunatic happens to be our representative in an election, bully on him and he's got my vote. So I'm not too worried about it.
This is our governor. This is our former governor who he was forced out of office because of multiple scandals coming forward in which he there were pictures that he took of his mistress, tied up, naked and bound. These were all blackmail photos. That was being investigated, and he went into hiding. Vice News was covering it at the time, and no one could find the governor, much like the governor of Montana. He just went into hiding during all these scandals, and finally resigned after like his third felony charge. He said he would not resign. He'd let all the investigations go forward. But he finally did resign after they said, okay, well, we're going to subpoena all your campaign finance records. And then he was like, I resign immediately, effective immediately.
I love that. I love that his campaign finance records was what broke him. That was where he was like, no, I'm not going to do this.
What a big shocker there. A politician who doesn't want you looking at his campaign finance records. I don't believe it.
Yeah, no.
I love how this campaign ad or whatever, like, it really just highlights. We're getting closer and closer to the point where Republicans just go full mask off and are just like, hey, we love the Second Amendment because we love guns, and why we love guns is because we would all really love to shoot someone. We want our guns not for hunting or for protection. Like, we actively would love to use guns to shoot people. Specifically people we don't like if we can get there, but it could be anyone. Family member, child, whatever. We would just like to take a human life with a gun. Seems like it would be a great time.
Yeah, they're all about it. There's so many stories about this absolute lunatic and what he's been up to. But no, now he's one of our senatorial candidates. So huzzah!
Yeah, and the really good news is apparently Donald Trump Jr. was asked if Pop would give Mr. RINO Hunter the Trump endorsement, and Don Jr. is playing it a little tight to the vest so far, but the God Emperor's royal decree will come down sooner or later as to who the lay people should vote for in the Republican primary. So that's going to be hilarious. Everyone rushing to kiss Orange Daddy's ring. Obviously include.
We're still in the light and fleshy Amuse Bouche. I don't want to. I don't want to darken it too much, so we don't have to dwell on this topic. But I mean, it does feel like stuff is getting worse. I mean, this guy's campaign ad is him literally with a gun shooting people and just being like, "Vote for me."
Yeah, vote for me. Yeah, vote for me. Vote for me, and our enemies will have their doors kicked in by brave police, good police, not police from Texas, but the good kinds of police. You know, the police you like, the police that harass minorities. Those police.
Yeah. Although, if anything, the ongoing investigation into what happened down in Uvalde or Uvalde, however it's pronounced, is. It like exercise your Second Amendment right, have access to a firearm, and then just put a barricade, any sort of barrier between you and a police officer, and suddenly you're like unto a god. You're an unstoppable. You're an unstoppable force. They're just like, we know that the person in there has a gun, but we cannot see them. So what are we to do?
Yeah,
no.
Listen,
we're paralyzed. Their Second Amendment rights are too powerful.
It was very scary.
Turns out being a police officer is scary. Who knew?
Yeah. Again, I got into this job so I could stand around construction sites and collect overtime and a pension. I didn't want to protect and serve. I didn't want to actually be a force for good in the community. I just put on the uniform so I could grift. I just wanted to make a buck. I mean,
yeah. It turns out it's a lot rougher on police officers when the people actually have weapons instead of them just claiming that they saw a weapon when it was like a cell phone or a nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was reaching. Yeah, he was trying to get out his wallet to identify himself. How was I supposed to know that wallet could have been a gun? I had to empty my clip and do him. Obviously, God.
His hands were moving. He didn't lock up and fall over like a faint goat at the sight of my badge and gun.
Faint goat.
Yes. Oh man, it took us like 90 episodes, but we finally got to the fainting goats. So good.
Okay, let's move on to the Amuse Bouche and talk about Kari Lake. I don't know anything about this, but the headline that I have written down here says Kari Lake drag hypocrisy. So I have to imagine that she hates drag, loves drag. Like, I hate drag and then watches Drag Race, like RuPaul's Drag Race, religiously.
It's even juicier than that, because Republicans have, for the past, I would say, few weeks, maybe month, have decided that like drag queens are the new sign of America's moral decay and the collapse of our society into Sodom and Gomorrah, which is hilarious, because I remember when Donald Trump was rubbing his face in the bosoms of Rudy Giuliani. And that was that was just a hilarious jape. That was just good old timey clean fun for the family. But now drag queens are bad and evil, and the Republican operative who tried to make critical race theory into a scary ooga booga super bad term, it was on Twitter talking about how we need to relabel drag queens as trans strippers, and that will.
Whoa.
And it's like,
woof.
And the funny thing about that was that piece. I saw some people saying, "Yeah, and he's going to get away with it too, just like he did with critical race theory." And it's like, no one knew what critical race theory was before, allowing a shithead like him to attempt to define it and scare people. Whereas everyone knows what drag queens are, so no, trans strippers is not going to play. Drag queens don't strip. That's not even a part of the bit. It's like, that's not what they do. It's super silly. But anyways, they got on this whole thing about drag queen story time and all that kind of stuff. So Kari Lake came out and was like, when I'm governor, I'm going to crack down on drag queens and all their perversion and all that good stuff. So an Arizona drag queen, Rick Stevens, who performs as Barbara Seville, came out and said that they performed for Kari Lake. They performed at one of her birthdays. They performed at their home with children presents. I performed for her in some of the seediest bars in Phoenix. Like, nice. Kari's gone to my shows all the time. She was like a fan of mine. So like, this is ridiculous that Kari Lake is now coming out being all like, oh my God, drag queens, I can't tolerate them. I can't stand them, I tell you. And the other thing about Kari Lake is that she spends all of her time railing against the media. But the whole reason why she's able to run for governor of Arizona was that she was a local news anchor for like over a decade at least. So like, she was literally the media for all this time before one day she was just like, wait a minute, the media is evil and wrong, and I love Donald Trump and America. I need to run for governor and be a completely pilled lunatic. So
just today I saw her just be like, if I'm elected, I just won't follow any federal gun laws. What are they going to do? Come and arrest a sitting governor? Call my bluff. And it's just like,
they absolutely will.
It's just like, yes, they will do that. Like,
1,000,000%.
Well, she's just like, I'm a governor. That means that I can't be arrested. And it's just like, oh, my sweet summer child, you can be arrested.
Yeah.
And again, this is freaking like 1800s nullification bullshit. We've had these discussions. I mean, the Civil War was to like free the slaves and all that good stuff, but there was also this part where it was like, oh yeah, you have to follow what the federal government says. It's in the Constitution. There's a supremacy clause that says if the federal government passes a law, the state has to abide by it. Like, that's why marijuana shops still have a tough time putting their money in banks, because it's still that money is illegal money, because it's still a federal crime to sell pot. So, like, this is just civics 101 bullshit, and she's just like, nope, ain't gonna listen to none of that stuff, because who cares about how anything works when you're just like famous, like locally famous, and can get people to vote for you because Donald Trump says you're a good person. I mean, that's what so many of these people are running on, like Dr. Oz, Herschel Walker, Kari Lake. It's just, I'm a local celebrity, even though Oz isn't from Pennsylvania. They're just like, hey, I'm a C-lister at best, maybe. Trump likes me. Let me wield power in your state for reasons.
I mean, people who are listening to the podcast might just be like, man, I can't believe the gang hasn't talked about Herschel Walker. And I don't really want to, because I'm afraid that gentleman might actually be developmentally disabled. Like, it seems like like that genuinely kind of like causes the hair on my neck to stand up, and I'm just like, let's score some points off of this guy. So I've just never brought him up.
Yeah. I mean, we can definitely like quote unquote score points off him on the fact that like he and his son have been running on this like fatherlessness is the worst problem in the Black community, and now it's come out that Herschel Walker fathered 3 other children beyond the one that he has raised, and he like keeps no contact with them and just pays alimony to the mothers. All that's good stuff.
Yeah, but what if he's riddled with CTE? We don't want to have another Benoit situation here. So. Look, I don't like the guy, but I figured I would just be like, oh yeah, we haven't talked about him because I don't really like talking about him, because when I hear him talk, it makes me very nervous.
It makes me feel not good.
I mean, the one thing I will say is that it just goes to show you how incredibly cynical and empty the Republican Party is that they're in Georgia. They're running against Raphael Warnock in the Senate, and Raphael Warnock is a Black preacher who was very popular and won an election. And the Republicans are just like, oh, shit, we need to, in order to try to blunt this guy's popularity with the Black community, we need to run a Black candidate against him. Who do we got? And the answer was Herschel Walker, who, again, as Elle has said, it is terrifying to listen to talk. Because, like, be it football, be it the fact that he did MMA for a while, the man very easily could have like actual like fundamental problems. And if elected, he would literally just be like told how to vote by like his like staff and probably his son. I mean, like people would just be like running that senator's seat around him because, I mean, again, it's terrifying to listen to the man. So I don't fully trust that he would be actually the senator of Georgia any more than he would just be like the person that is like put in that spot and then other people run him the way Ivanka and Jared ran Daddy Trump during his presidency.
Don't worry, Mike. There's no possible way any of these horrible people could win.
Oh, gas went up another 12 cents. I'm voting Republican. Oh, God. I mean,
yeah. In the blue corner, fighting for eliminating student debt, it's the liberals. And in the red corner, only caring about gas prices, it's the conservatives.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, fucking change the fucking record, mate. Oh, no, I had to pay an extra $30 to fill up my tank. Yeah, man. We're trying to stop a dude from like genociding and war crimes and stuff. Like fucking, like suck it up, mate. Yeah. When I go to my local eatery and I'm just like, oh shit, everything on the menu went up $1. I'm like, fuck this fucking country. I don't think trans people deserve rights anymore. I'm true blue conservative now, baby. Let's fucking go. I'm just like, oh, that sucks, but like I get it because you know Vladimir Putin is doing a war. Like, be mad at Russia, idiots. You dumb fucks. Be mad at Russia.
Yeah, and as numerous people have pointed out, like the price of oil has not gone up. The actual price for a barrel of oil is not at some catastrophically high level. This is just oil companies going, hey, remember those 18 months where no one traveled and we lost all that money due to COVID? What? We're getting it back, motherfuckers! Boom! And guess what? These dum-dums will blame Biden for it. Woo! Keep posting those "I did that" stickers on the gas pumps while we collect, you suckers.
I peel those off every time I see them, and I've peeled off more than a couple. And like, yeah, Jesus, it's so fucking dumb. It's like,
do you suppose Republicans would allow any sort of laws or legislation to prevent oil companies from gouging in the United States to go through? Like if Joe Biden was just like, hey, we drew up this thing that literally prevents the gas companies from charging more than $5 per gallon for gas. Like $5 is literally the worst it could possibly be, and fuck them, because am I right, guys? Do you think that they would let that pass? Absolutely not.
They wouldn't. Republicans voted no on like helping with baby formula, and they voted no on like bills to protect the price of insulin, something people like literally will die without.
Oh yeah. You make a lot of cap on gas prices at $5 a gallon. What about free markets? Whatever happened to capitalism? You're nationalizing the oil companies. That's socialism. They would throw themselves on the fainting couches. Meanwhile, if gas broke $5 a gallon, oh man, all Biden's fault. He did it. Blame him. He's the bad guy. Elect us.
I'd rather pay $10 a gallon at the pub than have Biden pass a successful law because I'm a real American.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I said it during Trump's presidency. The president does not control the price of gas. Like, it's still true even now.
No, it's Biden. He's doing it. So fuck him.
Yeah.
Let's not be mad at Putin or the gas industry or any of our other leaders that had come before that could have done work to put in infrastructure to help us be less reliant on gas in general. But what do I know? Sips tea. Okay, so one last Amuse Bouche. Let's talk about Tucker Carlson losing his fucking mind over Stephen Colbert's tiny insurrection. So
this shit.
Triumph the Insult Comic Dog and the cast thereof and production staff thereof went to Congress or whatever, the Capitol building. Was it the Capitol building itself?
Right.
Went to the Capitol building and were told to leave and then didn't. Because they needed to film some outside shots in the hallway of this office, and then got escorted out of the building. And of course, Tucker Carlson decided that this was the same as January 6th. It was exactly the same. Yeah. Where's their trial? Where's their hearings?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. When is Triumph going to be locked in solitary so Marjorie Taylor Greene can plead for his rights? When was that going to happen, libs? Hypocrisy much? Oh, man.
I can't wait. Marjorie Taylor Greene would be a great advocate for him to poop on. So that's still, that was his catchphrase, right? Still is. I don't know. I don't watch any of those shows because they're all bad.
Yeah. But to poop on, that was the...
Nice. Well, that's great. Yeah. I let the internet tell me when one of those guys has like a funny enough monologue or interview that I should pay attention to it. But generally, it's just like, hey, do you want to watch 1 hour of like a Stephen Colbert nighttime show featuring a puppet with a cigar that talks about pooping on stuff? I'm just like, no, I do not. Thank you. But I mean, I really appreciate the effort. I like Stephen Colbert. I'm glad that his family gets to, be comfortable because he seems like a pretty cool dude.
And I am glad that we at HellwQrld were once again able to wedge a puppet into an episode. So we're doing it, guys. We're keeping the string alive.
We're like Pixar squeezing the Mickey Mouse ears into everything they do, so, like sneakily. We're gonna do it with puppets. We just love puppets on HellwQrld. We salute our puppet overlords. Okay. Yep. And with the Amuse Bouche out of the way, let's get into our darker timeline, aka the timeline that we live in now. And do
from the digital headlines to the digital front lines. It's Q's in the news.
Don't acknowledge it. Just run.
No, don't worry. My sentence was clearly done. You could tell by the fact that syntax-wise would have made no sense.
I know.
All right. What is our first news item? What do we got? Texas. What's going on in Texas?
The next 5 minutes could be just baleful laughter, and you'd be informed enough. You just know that Texas is a fucking dumpster fire of epic proportions. That's all you need to know.
Texas will never secede for a million reasons, but I don't think they realize that their terrible football teams would not be allowed to play the football anymore.
It would hurt. It would hurt them a little. But so the Texas Republican convention happened, and they decided to just tear the mask off and go just batshit insane. They released one of their party platforms is that being gay is an abnormal lifestyle. It's bad and wrong. And,
right.
The log cabin Republicans
and a choice. It is a choice. It is a choice that can be fixed with therapy. Conversion therapy or whatever they call it.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. The Log Cabin Republicans, which is a Republican group, a gay Republican group, was not allowed in. They were just like, hey, nope, you're bad. Stay out. And it's just like, yo, guys, they're never going to accept you. I understand you hate liberals, but maybe you can hate yourselves a little less and be like, we'll go with the party that doesn't literally call us influenced by demons or like of the devil, and maybe we can work with them to embrace free markets or whatever, and just like that could be the conversation we're having here, instead of nope, please do not actually call us devils and demon worshippers, and try to get the Lawrence versus Texas overturned so that our lifestyle can be criminalized again. That sort of thing.
This group who's a member of a party that constantly tells them that they don't matter and they have no rights is stunned when that party listens. They're like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah.
We don't think
they should just do what every other self-respecting but self-hating Republican does and call themselves libertarians.
yeah. Log cabin libertarians. There you go.
I wish that was a joke. It's not.
Nope.
Like,
so on top of their desire to like criminalize the lifestyle choice of homosexuality, the Republican Party then also decided that Joe Biden is not the legitimately elected president of the United States, because apparently they watched 2,000 Mules and then they were so radicalized by it. They were so frothing at the mouth that they were like, that movie done proved it. We knew it. And they passed a resolution saying that they reject the outcome of the 2020 election because it was illegitimate. And then, of course, because it's Texas and Sarge already kind of mentioned it, they also said they'd like to secede. They would, like to leave the union again for I think this is like the 75th time that the Texas Republicans have threatened to just take their ball and go home.
That's fine. Let them look at Britain, see how well Brexit worked. It's just like, all right, bud, fucking do it. Let's go.
Also, we should just if they ever pass the measure to get the ball rolling on secession, no one should try to intervene. We should just let them secede, and literally inside of the first 60 seconds of them being an independent nation, we should just conquer them again. We should just literally just be like, and then Texas was its own nation, and we used Predator drone strikes to destroy Dallas, Texas. We literally leveled all of it. It's all gone now, and we have determined that the United States would really like to conquer the independent nation of Texas.
I'm just adamant. I just think we need to be 100% like, yeah, fine. All right, you can leave. See you later. Have fun building your own infrastructure. Have fun negotiating with Mexico without us.
Also, are the people of Texas under some sort of delusion that people like Texas? We don't think it was a tremendous bummer that Texas vanished. Bro, if Texas would like to take literally every state in the center of the country and Florida with it, I'm game. You guys can just all fuck off. Every flyover state, guess what? You can be a new country at the drop of a hat. HellwQrld will help get that going.
Hey, go fuck yourself, bud.
I mean, you got to take the good with the bad. You can leave. There will be a time period before it happens where you can escape.
Yeah, it's that simple. You could just move.
Yes. We'll give you